Disclosure is your paper trail when the law is unclear. Under Circular 230 Section 10.34, if a position needs disclosure, you attach a disclosure statement to the return. The goal is usually penalty protection, not invisibility. On the EA exam, they love the idea that disclosure can help when you have a reasonable basis and you're acting in good faith. Form 8275 is the main disclosure form. Use it when the item is not otherwise adequately disclosed on the return, and you want to reduce exposure to the accuracy-related penalty. But it's not a magic shield. You still need a reasonable basis for the position and good faith reporting. If you're just playing the audit lottery, that's a Circular 230 problem, not a disclosure problem. Now the big fork in the road, 8,275 versus 8275R. Form 8275 is for most uncertain positions. Form 8275R is only for a very specific situation. You're taking a position contrary to Treasury regulations. That's why it's called a regulation disclosure statement. Exam tip. If the fact pattern says contrary to regs, your brain should immediately say 8275R. Disclosure also has hard limits. Form 8275 cannot protect you from the accuracy-related penalty tied to negligence. It also can't protect you from penalties for disregarding regulations. Again, that's why 8275R exists, and even then, disclosure doesn't bless a reckless position. And disclosure doesn't fix tax shelter problems, especially substantial understatements on tax shelter items. Bottom line, disclosure helps reasonable positions, not bad behavior. Here's the classic session method example. IRS Chief Counsel guidance allows gamblers to compute winnings and losses by gambling session, then report the net of each session as gambling income. Because this approach relies on guidance and can differ from how people intuitively report, best practice is to attach Form 8275. You use the form to explain you used the session method and cite the Chief Counsel memo. Mechanically, your disclosure should be specific. State the position, identify the line item affected, and give the authority you're relying on, like the advice memorandum for the session method, or a court case if you're taking a position that differs from IRS publications. On the exam, they're testing that you document the why, not just that you checked a box. Marcus's business records and computer were completely destroyed by a house fire. He tries to recreate his records using estimates, but he has no substantiation or receipts. Sophia is an enrolled agent who prepares Marcus's return using estimates. What should Sophia do? Options include requiring a private letter ruling, preparing with reasonable estimates, referring to an attorney, or refusing to prepare using only estimates. Think about it. The best answer is, Sophia may prepare the tax return using reasonable estimates. When records are destroyed by a casualty like a fire, you can reconstruct and use reasonable amounts. The tempting wrong choice is, she cannot prepare using only estimates, but Circular 230 is about being reasonable and making appropriate inquiries, not demanding perfect records when they're impossible. Marisol is a CPA. She is taking a position on a client's return that requires disclosure. Which form can be used to disclose a position on a tax return? The options include Form 8275 and a few unrelated forms like 8823, 656, and 8821. Think about it. The correct answer is Form 8275. That's the standard disclosure statement attached to the return to disclose a position and help avoid certain penalties when you have a reasonable basis. A tempting distraction is Form 8821 because it's common, but that's just an authorization to receive information, not a disclosure of a return position.